Check it out.
We are speaking the truth, the hard truth, without apology. We will do it without fear. We will speak the truth today. God is real. Unborn life is life. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the best known form of governance to mankind. Capitalism is the best system known to man to lift people up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4, and the U.S. Constitution is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is the truth. We will not back down from the truth. We stand up for the truth. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024. That is what it means to be an American today. Thank you. Thank you.
So what do you think of that? What do you think of that? He believes in fossil fuels. He believes in parents. He believes in the nuclear family. He believes that there are only 2 genders. He believes that reverse racism is in fact racism. He's a believer in God and spiritual life. He believes in free speech. He believes in capitalism. He believes there are only 3 branches of government. He believes that family know what's best for their kids, not government. He believes in education. What's wrong with these things? You know, I had someone say, I put out a question on my page. I said, what do you think of Vivek Ramaswamy? And thoughts. And a couple of people came out, oh, he's just a smooth talker. Well, isn't being able to communicate effectively part of what the requirements to run for office like that? Isn't being a so-called smooth talker one of the things that are kind of a requirement for that job? You have to at least be able to communicate your vision and your plan of action in an effective way that people can not only understand it, but also get motivated and get behind you. You're a leader. It's your job to communicate effectively. It's your job to be persuasive. It's your job to be a so-called smooth talker. Right? That's why DeSantis can't win. Because he doesn't motivate, he doesn't energize, he's certainly not good at communicating his message. He's awkward, he's dry. And that's why Vivek has taken him over. I can't wait to see the debates. The primaries are going to be amazing, people. These primaries and these debates are going to happen. Oh, hold on to your seats, baby, because they're going to be something else. They are going to be something else. Let's talk a little bit about the so-called Soros connection, because this is one thing. In fact, on the same thread that I put out there, hey, what about Vivek Ramaswamy? What do you think of that? Somebody said, oh, he takes Soros money. He's out. I won't even consider him because he takes Soros money. I was like, really? I did about 20 minutes of research and found out that in fact, is not true. Well, wait. He did take Soros money. Paul Soros. Through their trust, their foundation, okay? And as you come through their foundation, Fellowship for New Americans. So basically, it's a foundation that provides scholarships for upper-level education under very strict criteria. They have like 1,300 people that apply every year for only 30 scholarships. Each scholarship is worth $90,000. Now, this is Paul and Daisy Soros. Paul is George Soros' older brother. You may not have ever heard of Paul Soros. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. He is the definition of the American dream. If anybody was, Paul Soros was the definition of the American dream, and he has nothing to do with his younger brother, George. I'm going to show you the receipts. So yes, Vivek did take money from Soros. Paul and Daisy Soros. He took a $90,000 fellowship so that he could get through graduate school as an attorney. And that's it. Paul Soros has nothing to do with his younger brother, George. They didn't come to America at the same time. They don't share the same values. And he had nothing to do with him right up to his death in 2013. The foundation is still active and run by his son, Jeffrey. Paul's son, Jeffrey. So, there's lots of Soros in the world. Just because you hear a bad word doesn't mean it's connected to George or the dirty, filthy money that he has. But let's explain a little bit about that. There was one other thing that happened, and rather than me explaining it, I'm going to let Vivek tell you about it himself. Check it out.
What is my relationship with the World Economic Forum? Answer, none, other than being probably their biggest critic here in the United States. And then the reason people are asking me this, though, is because the World Economic Forum named me on a list of so-called young global leaders. They did it despite the fact that I turned down their award. They kept my name on that list despite the fact that I repeatedly asked them to take it off because I did not share their values. I'm an opponent of it. Well, when they refused to do it, you know what I did? I sued them because I believe in taking action. That's the World Economic Forum question.
So there you go. They gave him an award he didn't want. They put him on the website that he didn't give them permission to do, and he sued them because they refused to remove it. He wanted to make sure there was no connection and nothing between them. So there's the George Soros and the so-called World Economic Forum connection busted. I believe what he says. And the reason I believe what he says is because I've researched the man and I've researched where the actual money came from. And I've researched his history and what he's done. He's on the Paul and Daisy Soros Fellowship for New Americans website as a fellow. You know what a fellow is? Let's define a fellow. A fellow is someone, in this case, who takes money from a foundation, a nonprofit, that gives them money to go to school. So you're now considered a fellow. There's tons of fellows. Vivek happens to be one of them in 2011. He's the founder and resources of Roivant Sciences. He's a child of immigrants from India. So this is off of the website for the Americans. Vivek Ramaswamy is the founder and CEO of Roivant Sciences. Vivek was born in Cincinnati, just so you know a little bit about him, okay? He was born in Cincinnati to Indian parents. In high school, he was class valedictorian, a nationally ranked junior tennis player, and an accomplished pianist. Vivek graduated from Harvard College in 2007, summa cum laude and Phi Beta Kappa, with a major in biology. Later, he entered Yale Law School. While at Harvard, a thesis of his senior thesis on the ethical question raised by creating human-animal chimeras was published in the Boston Globe and the New York Times. He was a chairman of the Harvard Political Union and served as one of the 3 undergraduates chosen for an advisory board for the selection of the current president of Harvard. During his senior year, Vivek co-founded StudentBusinesses.com, okay, a technology startup company which connected entrepreneurs with professional resources via the internet. He led that company to its acquisition in 2009. So he started a tech startup, built it up to a level of value, and then sold it for a pretty penny. After Harvard, Vivek worked for 3 years in life sciences, investing in New York before pursuing his law degree. Okay, so there's a little bit of background on him. So he's a scholar. He is an entrepreneur, extremely successful at both. He was a competitive athlete. He's a musician. These are all traits of geniuses, okay, in case you didn't catch that. And so to completely discount him out of hand would be silly. Don't be that person. Don't be like that. Educate yourself. Do your homework. This is important. What happens going forward in this country in the 2024 election and beyond is important. Critically important for the survival of this republic. And I hope that y'all get that message by now, okay? So let's take a look at a little bit about Paul Soros, Who is Paul Soros anyway? Okay, well, like I said, they started they have a fellowship. It's called Fellowships for New Americans, and it's a nonprofit trust that provides up to $90,000 in tuition for immigrants that want to go to school, upper graduate school, okay? In 2010, Mr. and Mrs. Soros contributed an additional $25 million to the charitable trust, okay, that funds their fellowships for new Americans. The trust was founded, by the way, in 1998, okay? No, yeah, that's right, 1998. I got notes here. So it's been around for a while. Mr. Soros passed away on Saturday, June 15th, 2013, at the age of 87. His inspired personal story, his commitment to American constitutional democracy. You see, he was a constitutional conservative, Paul Soros. Nothing like George Soros. Complete polar opposites. Okay? George is evil, New World Order, demon. Okay? Paul Soros was not. Paul was a good man. He came here, and I'm going to talk about his story just a little bit because I think it's important. I think it's important not only to understand what the foundation is that provided Vivek his grant for his education, part of his education, a couple of years of it, but also to understand what the American dream is like and that the story of immigrating to this country and becoming successful beyond anybody's wildest dreams and then being able to help others also become successful. Is that not the American dream? Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, his visionary philanthropy are fundamental to the fellowship program. New York Times detailing his life story, and lots of stuff is available online. Check it out. Research this guy. Trust me. The Paul and Daisy Soros Fellowship for New Americans is a $90,000 merit-based fellowship exclusively for immigrants and children of immigrants who are pursuing graduate school in the United States. The program draws, wow, I had it wrong. It's even more. The program draws more than 1,800 applicants annually for only 30 fellowships. Their criteria to get one of those scholarships, incredibly rigid. Because think of it, they have to choose only the top 30 out of 1,800 applicants. And all these applicants are good. They could all go to the big college